So this is part 2 of the classic slave narrative, The Life of Olauda Equiano. We did part 1 already. If you were not here, try to check my videos and listen to part 1. And we are going to start part 2. I'll try as much as possible to read as slowly as possible that you would be able to follow through. I remember a man was brought before my father and the other judges for kidnapping a boy. And although he was the son of a chief or senator, he was condemned to make recompense by a man or woman slave. Adultery, however, was sometimes punished with slavery or death, a punishment which I believe is inflicted on it throughout most of the nations of Africa. So sacred among them is the honor of the marriage bed, and so jealous are they of the fidelity of their wives. Of this I recollect an instance. A woman was convicted before the judges of adultery and delivered over, as the custom was, to her husband to be punished. Accordingly, he determined to put her to death. But it being found just before her execution that she had an infant at her breast, and no woman being prevailed on to perform the part of a nurse, she was spared on account of the child. The men, however, do not preserve the same constancy of their wives, which they expect from them, for they indulge in plurality, though seldom in more than two. Their mode of marriage is thus: both parties are usually betrothed when young by their parent, though I have known the male to betroth themselves. On this occasion, a feast is prepared, and the bride and bridegroom stand up in the midst of all their friends who are assembled for the purpose, while he declares she is henceforth to be looked upon as his wife, and that no other person is to pay any addresses to her. This is also immediately proclaimed in the vicinity, on which the bride retires from the assembly. Some time after, she is brought home to her husband, and then another feast is made, to which the relation of both parties are invited. Her parents then deliver her to the bridegroom, accompanied with a number of blessings, and at the same time they tie round her waist a cotton string of the thickness of a goose quill, which none but married women are permitted to wear. She is now considered as completely his wife, and at this time the dowry is given to the new married pair, which generally consists of portions of land, slaves, cattle, household goods, and implements of husbandry. These are offered by the friends of both parties, besides which the parents of the bridegroom presents gifts to those of the bride, whose property she is looked upon before marriage. But after it, she is esteemed the sole property of her husband. The ceremony being now ended, the festival begins, which is celebrated with bonfire and loud acclamations of joy, accompanied with music and dancing. We are almost a nation of dancers, musicians, and poets. Thus, every great event, such as a triumphant return from battle or other cause of public rejoicing, is celebrated in public dances, which are accompanied with songs and music suited to the occasion. The assembly is separated into 4 divisions, which dance either apart or in succession, and each with a character peculiar to itself. The first division contains the married men, who in their dances frequently exhibit feats of arms and the representation of a battle. To this succeed the married women, who dance in the second division. The young men occupy the third, and the maidens the fourth. Each represents some interesting scene of real life, such as a great achievement, domestic employment, a pathetic story, or some rural sports. And as the subject is generally founded on some recent event, it is therefore ever new. This gives our dances a spirit and variety which I have scarcely seen elsewhere. We have many musical instruments, particularly drums of different kinds, a piece of music which resembles a guitar, and another much like a staccato. These last are chiefly used by betrothed virgins who play on them on all grand festivals. As our manners are simple, our luxuries are few. The dress of both sexes is neatly same. It generally consists of a long piece of calico or muslin wrapped loosely around the body, somewhat in the form of Highland plaid. This is usually dyed blue, which is our favorite color. It is extracted from a berry, and this is uli that is describing here, or assumed to be uli. And it is brighter and richer than any I have seen in Europe. Besides this, our women of distinction wear golden ornaments, which they dispose with some profusion on their arms and legs. When our women are not employed with the men in tillage, their usual occupation is spinning and weaving cotton, which they afterwards dye and make into garments. They also manufacture earthen vessels, of which we have many kinds, among the rest tobacco pipes, made after the same fashion and used in same manner as those of Turkey. I think we should stop here for part 2, and we are going to continue. Like I said, I will try not to make it more than 10 minutes. So even if it will take 300 parts, we'll just continue to go with it. I will not read as much as I will be reading personally. So if you want to go along, you can pick the book up, find it, and we'll continue with that. And this is our attempt to read every day, so you can join in.